What is up, y'all? It's your girl Evelyn, and today we will be discussing what every single person on the internet is currently discussing, and that is JoJo Siwa's controversial and incredibly gay rebrand. We're also going to be diving into Billie Eilish's latest song, which is very, very, very gay and a little raunchy. Last but not least, we'll also be chatting about Reneé Rapp, because we always chat about Reneé Rapp. We're getting into all of that and more on this week's episode of Queer She Said. So before we dive into JoJo Siwa's controversial rebrand, I just have to let you know I am probably the worst person to talk about JoJo Siwa because A, I'm old enough to be her mother. Like when she was on Dance Moms, I was already a grown-ass woman. And B, I had no awareness of who JoJo Siwa even was until she came out, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, and she said she didn't like the word lesbian.
I don't like the word itself. It's just like lesbian. It's just like a lot.
So to reiterate, not the best person to talk about JoJo, but because she's family, I feel an obligation to talk about her. All I know is that JoJo has somehow managed to capture the internet's collective attention, more specifically the collective disdain of the internet, because she has thrown away the bows, she has ripped off the neon clothes, she's wearing black, she's wearing eye makeup, and she's humping ladies a lot and super aggressively. So from my understanding, the internet is perceiving JoJo's rebrand as, I guess, cringy and try hard. There's some controversy with her stealing the song, but I don't think she actually stole the song. People were also upset that she was spamming social media with the song and getting it stuck in their heads, which, is that not the point of social media? Is that not what she's supposed to be doing as an artist? I don't know. And like I said before, there are so many videos on YouTube about JoJo Siwa and her rebrand. Every commentary channel has made a video, I think, at this point. And I'll be honest, I watched, I don't know, maybe 2 of those videos. Okay, maybe like 1.5. And I still don't really understand the source of everyone's ire toward JoJo. Again, maybe it's because I'm old enough to be her mom. And to me, JoJo just comes off as like a very aggressively precocious young lady who was clearly homeschooled. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you know a homeschooled child or you are a homeschooled child, you know there's a difference. Not a bad difference, just a difference. Also, in JoJo's defense, she was a child star, and she's clearly not as fucked up as some other child stars. I don't think you can be a child star and not be like a little fucked up, right? I feel like every person who acted as a child and got some sort of like fame and notoriety off of it, they're fucked up in some capacity. Even the ones that seem really well adjusted, they're not okay. So she does have that against her. It's gotta be hard. I did watch her on the Call Her Daddy podcast, and that was a very, very interesting interview. I will say JoJo said what I consider to be some slightly alarming ass shit without meaning to, I think, because I don't want to really get into it, but I do know she has been maligned for being associated with certain people. We don't have to name names, but after listening to her on the Call Her Daddy podcast, it makes sense. Back to the rebrand, being considered cringy, in my opinion, should not be cause for hate, especially not in the age where we're all fucking cringy. I'm incredibly cringy. I know that. It's fine. I don't give a shit. And you know what this reminds me of? The way the internet is like collectively ganging up on JoJo very much gives Brittney in the like 2010s.
Leave Brittney alone!
I remember people were so comfortable making fun of Brittney in the same way that people are so comfortable making fun of JoJo. And look, I know JoJo's grown, okay? She's 20. I just can't look at a 20-year-old and be like, you're a grown adult person. I just can't. I remember being 20. I was a menace at 20 years old, okay? Oh, by the way, as for the song and the video, which we haven't even talked about, I liked the song. I thought it was fine.
I was a bad girl. I did some that's on that lie. That's on that karma's a bitch. I shouldn't.
It's not a bad song. It sounds fine. I like the visuals of the video. Didn't understand the storyline. I know she was humping girls. I know she seemed to be moving back and forth between 2 girls. JoJo looked like she was having a blast humping them girls. And that's all I want for a 20-year-old baby gay, to hump as many girls as they can. Moving on to another young pop star who is being real gay, and that is Billie Eilish. Billie recently teased her upcoming song called Lunch at I think it was like a Coachella after party. She was maybe DJing. So here's a quick little clip from that party and her playing the song Lunch.
I could eat that girl for lunch. Yeah, she dances on the tongue. Tastes like she might be the one.
Oh my. Billie said, I'm young, but I'm grown, and I do what grown people do. I'm here for it. I love it. So this song is off of her upcoming album called Hit Me Hard and Soft. Hopefully there will be a video for lunch. I can't wait for the full song to drop. So moving on to some real grown adult women business, I have to talk about Rebel Wilson's memoir, Rebel Rising. You might remember I mentioned it last year before it came out. Well, it's out now, and baby, Rebel is dropping some bombs. Rebel said Elliot Page is not the only queer that can name names. Actually, did you guys read Elliot's memoir, Page Boy? I listened to like half of the audiobook. I had to stop because I hated the structure. He was jumping around too much in time. I got lost. I didn't know what was going on. But Elliot named names, okay? Elliot said, I fucked her. I fucked her. Anyway, back to Rebel though. I do want to talk about some of the bigger bombs that she dropped in her memoir, including how she almost risked it all for a professional lady tennis player. Rebel has a little dalliance, okay, with this professional lady tennis player. And I want to read what she wrote about her. So this is Rebel. I felt so invested in her and even thought at one point, oh, I could give up my career for this person, travel around the world on the tennis circuit. I have to say though, I fully get why Rebel would want to be like a stay-at-home professional tennis player lady wife. That sounds fantastic. You get to travel the world. She's playing at Wimbledon, the French Open, the other ones. I mean, that sounds like a great life. Anyway, next bombshell that Rebel dropped in her memoir is that Adele hates her. Yes, that Adele. Adele, the singer, hates Rebel Wilson, the actress. So the situation is, back in the day, both Adele and Rebel were both larger than they are currently. And early in their careers, people used to confuse Rebel and Adele. And whenever Rebel would see Adele, just like out in the wild, Adele would like avoid her, which of course made Rebel feel a certain type of way. And because of that, she felt like Adele hated her and her fatness, etc. And I feel like this is one of those situations where it sounds like it had more to do with Adele than Rebel, right? Like it sounded like it maybe had more to do with like Adele's self-image, self-esteem, yada, 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 versus that she hates Rebel and Rebel's fatness. As of the making of this video, Adele has not responded to Rebel. The next bomb that Rebel dropped was definitely the most interesting, and that is that she lost her virginity at the age of 35.
I hadn't had sex until I was 35. And that was something that I felt ashamed about it. Like I felt really embarrassed about it actually.
Now, when I first read that, I was like, girl, TMI. I don't need to know what age you lost your virginity. That is between you and that person and your God or your non-God, whatever you believe in or don't believe in. But like, that's not for me to know. But then I read what Rebel wrote and like why she shared that. And basically, she just wants to let people know that it's okay to wait. Like, you don't have to hurry to do something because society says, hey, this is the age range in which this event is supposed to happen in your life. And so I love that. I think that's very sweet. So moving on to the final and biggest bombshell, I would say, that Rebel dropped in her memoir, and it was about none other than Sacha Baron Cohen, aka Borat, aka ex-husband of one of the Amy Adams clones, Isla Fisher. True story, I honestly thought he was married to Amy Adams for years. Anywho, on to the allegation, and just to let you know, this is an allegation, so everything is alleged.
He asked me to do things that made me feel very uncomfortable, humiliated, and kind of degraded as a human being.
Now, Sacha did release a statement. Basically, Sacha said he ain't do that shit. What is up, y'all? It is Editing Evelyn here, and I just wanted to jump in really quickly because while I was editing this episode, it was just announced that Rebel's memoir, which has only been released in the US thus far, will be released in the UK, but the Sacha Baron Cohen allegations will be redacted. So if you buy a UK version of Rebel Rising, there will be no mention of Sacha Baron Cohen. Okay, back to non-editing Evelyn. So if you want to read some more bombs dropped by Rebel, her memoir, Rebel Rising, is currently out and available in the US wherever books are sold. So moving on to some super quick, good gay news, I do want to congratulate Brittney Griner and her wife Sherelle. They are expecting their very first child in like 2 or 3 months from now. Also, extra congratulations to Brittney because her brand new upcoming memoir, Coming Home, will be dropping next month. The next bit of good gay news is that Reneé Rapp brought back the L word. Reneé was introduced at Coachella by none other than L word royalty. There was Leisha Haley, Jennifer Beals, Eileen Shaken, Shane.
I think it's time we just bring her out. Let's get her out here. Yeah. You gotta say what every lesbian wants to hear. Who's ready for a fucking Reneé rap concert?
So the last piece of super quick good gay news isn't quite good. It's not all bad, but it's like half and half. But first things first, I want to welcome Bethany Antonia to the family. And if you're not familiar with Bethany, she is one of the stars of House of the Dragon. She plays Baela Targaryen, daughter of Daemon Targaryen. And so far, Bethany hasn't had a huge part in the show just yet. But the reason we're talking about Bethany is that she recently came out as gay on Instagram. But the reason she came out as gay isn't great. She basically came out in response to racist trolls. Someone called her a racist slur, and her response was basically like, wait till they find out I'm gay. I love that Bethany seems to be just as fierce as Baela, but I hate that she has to be. So that was a pretty good segue into some not so good gay news, because the super queer Netflix series Everything Now has officially been canceled after just one season. And just a reminder, Everything Now was a show about 16-year-old Mia who returns to school after having completed a lengthy hospital stay due to anorexia. Now, I'll be honest, I do personally feel bad because I did not watch this show. It was on my watch list. I meant to get to it. I just didn't get to it. And look, I know that if I had watched it, it would have still been canceled. I mean, Netflix is gonna Netflix. Although I'm not gonna lie, the older I get, the harder it is for me to get into teen shows. Again, that's why I like Euphoria so much. You can tell it was written by an old motherfucker like me. So last but not least, we're gonna go through a few recent and upcoming releases that you might want to check out that I either forgot to cover in my most recent video. First up is Hoochie Daddies. Hoochie Daddies is back for its second season. Now, this was that reality game show that was on Tubi TV, and it was about a group of masculine identifying women who are put in a house together somewhere in Florida, and then they compete in challenges to be top Hoochie Daddy. Very interesting show. I didn't watch all of it, but like I said, the second season is currently airing, and it is airing on YouTube this time. If you go to the Get Her Done YouTube channel, you can watch, I want to say like the first 2 or 3 episodes. I also want to quickly shout out my girl, Ashley K. She reviewed the first episode over on her YouTube channel. So if you want to know if the second season of Hoochie Daddies is worth watching, you definitely want to check out Ashley's video. Now, moving on to the first gay cheerleading movie we've had in years. And I have to say, if there is one thing I don't understand, it's the lack of lesbian cheerleading movies. Like, we have one good one, and then like another one, and then maybe like a third, but that's it. Anywho, thanks to Hot Boy Elliot Page, we are getting another lesbian cheerleading movie. The movie is called Backspot, which I believe is a reference to a cheerleading position, I think. So here's the synopsis to Backspot. Riley is given the chance to cheer with the all-star squad Thunderhawks. With a competition looming, Riley must navigate her crippling anxiety, her relationship with her girlfriend, and her desperate need for approval from her new coach. Now, the main character Riley is being played by Devery Jacobs, who also starred in Reservation Dogs. No exaggeration, it is easily in my top 10 shows of all time, maybe even in my top 5. Like, if you have not watched Reservation Dogs, please watch Reservation Dogs. It's so good. Anyway, back to Backspot. My girl Evan Rachel Wood is in this movie. I think she plays the coach. And y'all know I love me some Evan Rachel Wood. I think she is one of the best working actresses today. Now, I have no idea when Backspot will be available to watch in theaters or streaming. I do believe it's still making the film festival rounds, so you might want to be on the lookout for it. And last but not least, the beloved Max original series Velma is back. So by the time this podcast comes out, the second season of Velma should be out, and God knows I'm not getting this up before then. And it is crazy how quiet Max has been keeping the second season of Velma. I had no idea Velma was coming back until the other day. And it's understandable why Max is keeping it quiet, because you guys might recall the season 1 reception of Velma wasn't great. And I have a feeling HBO is trying to kind of sneak season 2 past all the commentary YouTubers and TikTokers in the hopes that there won't be like a cajillion videos about how much people hate Velma. Now, I have to be honest with you guys. I am sincerely looking forward to season 2 of Velma. I know I might be the only person person in existence who genuinely, sincerely enjoyed the first season of Velma, but I did. I liked it. And I'm not trying to convince you to watch Velma, because if you don't like it, you don't like it. I will say the first 2 episodes of season 1 were a lot, but by the 4th episode, the show kind of hit its stride. It calmed the fuck down and it became genuinely enjoyable for me to watch. Also, the Velma Daphne romance was legit and I enjoyed the unfurling of their relationship. I thought it was cute. I think that's it. I think I've talked about all of the things on my list of things to talk about. Oh, actually, I might, if I can get my shit together, I might throw up a reaction video to JoJo's Karma over on my Patreon, because I did record my reaction to watching it for the first time. So again, if I can get my shit together, I have like 150 jobs, you guys, I'm sorry. But if I can get my shit together, I will try to get my reaction to Karma up on Patreon very soon. Also, just to let you guys know, I have been covering Blank the series over on Patreon. If you've never heard of Blank the series, it is a spinoff to Gap the series. So if you want to watch me attempt to cover Blank the series, you should definitely consider joining my Patreon. As always, thank you guys so much for watching and or listening, and I'll see you in the next one.